Of course, this train tour is all about celebrating the history of the Grey Cup, and much of that history has been written right there in Edmonton, including, of course, the 5 in a row, one in the late 70s and early 80s. And during that time, there was a kid who grew up literally in the backyard of the Edmonton Eskimos who had a Grey Cup dream. Hank Ilesic turned that dream into a reality. Here is his story as narrated by 6-time Grey Cup champion and Hall of Fame kicker, Dave Cutler.
Grey Cup Stories, brought to you by Rona.
A situation like that, which I happen to live, is like a fairy tale. It's like a movie. You dream about it, but for a dream to become reality, it doesn't happen too often.
To learn the story of Hank Ilesic, one of the youngest names in the Grey Cup, you don't have to travel far. It all started here on 95A Street, less than a mile away from Edmonton's Clarke Stadium.
I remember this room very well. This is one of my favorite rooms, in fact. In the background here, you can actually see the stadium lights. Quite often you could hear the crowd noise at night when they score a touchdown or when the fans got excited. You could always hear that. You could always feel that.
Hank fell in love with the team down the street. On weekends, he'd climb the stadium fences to watch the team play. On weeknights, he'd run to watch practice after school.
For about 5-6 years as I grew up, I was here every day, rain or shine. Snow, hail, wind, whatever, I was here.
He used to come around when he was a kid and ask me if he could have a pair of football shoes. Kept coming back and back, and I finally turned to him one day and said, "Look, kid, you're not going to be anything, go away." But he was different because he was persistent.
Despite hanging around Clarke Stadium, Hank had never actually played football. But one day at school, he discovered the gift in his right leg.
A bunch of us are playing soccer this side of the field here. Some other kids are playing football on that side of the field. The ball happened to wind up over here. I was close to the ball, so I picked it up, took a little run at it, and hoofed it. It happened to go over the fence. So all the kids going, "Whoa, whoa, I bet you can't do that again." So they threw the ball over. I picked it up, took a run again, and bang, over the fence.
Hank started playing organized football and joined his high school team at St. Joseph's. Standing 6'2", with size 13 feet, he could kick the ball a country mile. In 1977, Hank was invited to the Eskimos development camp for junior-age players.
I was excited. I could hardly wait. I couldn't sleep.
Hank impressed the coaches and earned an invitation to the team's pro training camp.
All of a sudden, this young guy shows up, Hank Ilesic, and everyone's wondering, who is this guy?
When everybody said he was in grade 11 or grade 12, it was like, well, what's he doing here? He's at the wrong camp.
And then obviously when he kicks his first ball, and people said, wow.
His power was awesome. It was stunning when you saw it when it left his foot. As time went on, we start to wonder, how early could he play? Frankie Morris said to me, we could just sign him. You didn't have to go through any draft or anything. He could just play for us.
At 17 years of age, with a year left in high school, Hank signed a contract with his boyhood team.
To finally be in the same house, the same office, it was an honor.
Hank went to grade 12 classes during the day, then rode his bike to practice with the Eskimos at night.
One of the great scenes I remember is in the locker room is our players helping him with his homework. We had somebody that could do him with math and somebody could do him with his English and science and all that. We may have not had a bunch of geniuses on our team, but collectively we could get the job done.
Midway through the '77 season, with a struggling kicking game, the Eskimos cut starting kicker Jerry Kunick. Suddenly, Hank was thrown into the spotlight.
Now we will see Hank Ilesic at work.
Man
Tremendous kick by Hank Ilesic.
I've never seen a more lively leg than Ilesic has.
When he hit the ball, I mean, it was boom. I remember guys on the sideline just, holy sh**.
It's kind of like Warren Moon kicking the ball. We're better than everybody else at that position. Try to catch a ball coming down from 1,000,000 miles high. Advantage, Eskimos.
I'm here with the premier punter in the Canadian Football League, Hank Ilesic. All right, boom out one of those 87-yarders for us. I watched you in practice. You look spectacular.
There were high expectations in Edmonton for excellence. This was a team that all these guys are in the Hall of Fame, and Hank was right there with it. He wasn't lagging behind.
In just his second year in the league, Hank was the CFL's leading punter. In 1978, his punting helped guide the Eskimos to a Grey Cup victory.
Look at the ecstasy taking over that Edmonton bench.
At 19 years old, Hank became one of the youngest players to win the Grey Cup. In total, he won 5 straight championships with his favorite team.
To get to the Grey Cup is unbelievable. It is a movie. Like what they put on screens is rare stuff that people don't even think about.
To be an opportunity to be in a professional team at that age, let alone go to a Grey Cup and win it, it's almost like a fantasy that came true. All the stars just happened to align perfectly.
Grey Cup Stories, brought to you by Rona.